Hometown Heroes runs out of money. The Fed meets and rates do not do what I expect. And we're going to cover some interesting data. Just looks at where current homeowners are as far as rates and those kinds of things and where likely supply is to come from. But let me start by doing this because I love doing these videos. I love looking at the data. I think it's very interesting and a part of what people should pay attention to if you're an investor, realtor, or mortgage person. But it's not, it's the icing, not the cake. The cake is what you do every day to succeed. I normally end with this. I was looking at the first video I did. This is almost 10 years ago. I definitely looked a lot younger, so I'm aging in mortgage years here. But if I looked at this video 10 years ago, this was on credit reporting and different things. One of the things I figured out really fast was, one, that I was never going to be a YouTube star. That has not happened and probably never will happen. But two, that I really enjoyed the data and helping other people be successful. And three things that I've bet my whole life on as I've stayed in the mortgage business and built my company is, one, helping other people has always paid off. I've helped many other mortgage people in the market that are competing for the same business that I am, and masterminding and helping them move forward has helped me. And I don't believe in having a scarcity mindset. I think, two, if you don't have something that's duplicatable and repeatable, it's going to be very hard to be successful. I can tell you, when I go to the gym every morning, if you talk to morning Rayce and afternoon Rayce, they're two different people. If you talk to Monday morning Rayce and Friday afternoon Rayce, those are definitely two different people. So really what matters is I have a system that's duplicatable and repeatable. So whatever space that I'm in, I have a system where I go work out and try to stay in shape the best that I can. And I would say business is the same way. If you cannot say in language what is duplicatable and what is repeatable, then you don't actually have a DSP. We did a class recently where we said, write down the one single activity that brings you the most money for you, and then figure out how many hours do you do that specific activity every week. If you haven't seen that class, email me or text me or message me. I'll give you the replay link on it, but it's Daily Success Plan directly for agents. But whatever yours is, doesn't matter. It's unique to you. It just matters that you can say it and do it over time. And then the third thing is, my opinion, there's lots of things to spend money on as I built my company and stayed in the industry for a while. And whether it's Zillow or those kinds of things, yeah, those things, I guess, can have a place in that plan. But I found over the years, the number one thing that I spent money on was to eliminate the things that I didn't like doing and actually let me focus on the parts that I'm good at to grow my business. Brian Tracy, who's a speaker I really love, has this saying, eat your frogs first thing in the morning. And I understand the idea of that, of getting the things out of the way you don't like doing. But the truth is, I don't like eating frogs. So over the year, if you can hire people to eat your frogs for you so you can focus on the things that you love to do and make you money, I think that's the best goal, best course of action for building a successful real estate and mortgage business. Anyways, so that's for what it's worth. We do a class on every Tuesdays. I think check it out. If you haven't seen my DSP one on Daily Success Plan for Realtors, send me and I'll send you that link. All right, so let's look at Hometown Heroes. Hometown Heroes, as you know, is a down payment assistance program. It's up to $35,000 in assistance, zero interest with zero payments. Who can get it? Most first-time home buyers who are Florida residents. You probably heard about it. I've done videos on it. I'll link to another one in the description. They ran out of money. They ran out of their initial allocation of $100 million. July 1st, that new allocation goes in of the new $100 million. So the first go around lasted about 11 months, but there was a pretty steep barrier to entry, meaning you had to be in a very specific line of work. And so that really changed the way people marketed it and also changed who it was available to. If you do simple math here and we look at the $100 million that's going to go into effect on July 1st, we divide that by the median income, you get 5% of that, or median price. That means $20,000 is what the average person is going to get, which means that'll be about 5,000 people, maybe 6,000 that will get it. If you think in all of Florida, we probably have 20 to 30,000 transactions a month. Just in here in Central Florida, we can have 3 to 4,000. That 5 to 6,000 people is going to go very quickly. I don't know how they're going to handle that as people go under contract and maybe the money runs out. It's going to, I don't know if they've really thought this through. So it's just something to be aware of. That money does not get allocated until we lock in those funds. As of right now, you can't even lock in a Hometown Heroes loan. You can start the process, and we are, but you can't technically lock the rate till after July 1st till that a new allocation comes in, which just shows you it's going to be a little bit of a gold rush into this program. Great to market. It will help some buyers, which is awesome, but I think it's going to run out of money faster than what people want. And who knows if they'll put more money in it or how long it would take that to do. So just remember, Hometown Heroes, great program, but it's likely to run out very quickly. Okay, so now the Fed met and did everything I wanted them to do. CPI came in lower. Core showed really flat, inflation not going up. Fed paused, did not raise the Fed funds rate. And what did rates do? They did nothing. This was as of Friday. The average rate was 6.95%. Remember, everyone's rate's different with points and all these things that I've covered before. And if you look here, I thought this was kind of interesting. Just look out for a second. People forget, and it's even hard for me to remember, but back in February, we did hit 6%, and then it's just stayed in this 6.5% to 7% range. The Fed did set the stage for more Fed funds rate increases this year, and they really kind of treated this more as a skip than a pause. The market was really wanting a pause, meaning this is the end. And really what they said is, we're going to skip this meeting and not do anything. And we're going to look and see what the data says over the next couple months. Now, that's what you'd expect the Fed to say regardless, because their job is to, they don't want runaway inflation. So they don't want the market to start pricing in a lot of rate decreases. So they're going to talk up no matter what. What rates will ultimately do is, if they believe that the Fed is going to actually do that, raise the Fed funds rate, or they really start to believe they're going to lower rates when they look at other data and inflation and possible recession and these kinds of things. My opinion, after July 1st, we'll get a slow trickle down. But the tougher the Fed talks, the longer that's going to take to happen. So we're just going to have to see. No one knows for sure. No one has a crystal ball. That's why I say focus on your DSP, because that's something you can control. Markets, rates, transactions. Market's going to do as the market does. I do think that this was an interesting article from Redfin here. So this is an article that Redfin did tracking where people are at in the market as far as current homeowners. And you can see this green here is people below 3%. This is people with 3 to 4%. This is people with 4 to 5%. And look at this tiny little sliver of people that are above 6%. And they break it down even further, where they say of that, 82.4% have rates below 5%. Of that 82%, 62% are below 4, and 23.5% are below 3. And ultimately what that means is kind of what I've said. There's no meaningful supply that's going to come on the market, not from builders, not from foreclosures, and probably not from current homeowners, because it's going to have to get closer to that 5% range to unleash that supply. It will happen at some point. I don't think it happens this year. I don't even think it happens next year. I think we're going to be in this really tight market where there's not a lot of inventory, and where likely demand is going to be increasing as rates fall. I remember telling buyers last year that if I could take you in a time machine and put you a year from now and bring you back to now, you would buy, because you're going to see how much the competition is going to heat up when rates fall. That's still the same conversation. There's still some opportunity, but in most markets, I thought this was a really telling chart. And this is kind of nationally. I got this from MBS Highway, showing that currently 33% of homes and rising are sold over asking. And look at this sharp increase as of late. Again, it means that the market is heated up. There's not a lot of inventory. Demand stays, it's not really came to where I believe it's going to be, and it's already going over asking. Very competitive. It's definitely a seller's market. We're under 2 months of inventory again. I think that's a trend that's going to continue. This market, the way it feels right now, I think will be what it feels like this year and next year, which is great. A lot of people doing well. Some people need to figure out what their own DSP is. Whatever it is, this is the data, what it says for now. And as more information becomes available that moves the market, I'll cover it here. If you have any questions on this, loan programs, Hometown Heroes, reach out to me. I'd love to help. Have a great day, great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.